I'm going to cover my 5 best strategies for increasing email open rates. I've done a lot with email marketing over the years, so even if you're a high-level advanced marketer, I'm pretty confident you're going to find something to take away from this video, something that you can implement. And on that note, be sure to let me know in the comments below what your favorite strategy is. Here we go. I'm going to start with what I think is the most valuable one first and then work down the list. So number 1, warm up the email. And for that, I like to use the program Lemwarm. And what Lemwarm is it's a program that connects to the email box itself and then sends out emails to other Lemwarm users and then replies to them. And you can see Lemwarm's website right here. And if we go under Lemwarm's product, we can click on Lemwarm. So it's not Lemwarm, Lemlist is the name of the product. It's actually a cold email outreach tool, but I use these for even emailing my list or email addresses that I use to blast to my list. I always have them connected to Lemwarm. The product itself, I think, costs, what does it cost? $30 a month for each email address that I'm using. So I always have a Lemwarm running, and I'll start running this about 2 weeks before I actually use a new email address. So I always, I can't stress that enough. Like I said, I'm going in order of what I think is the most valuable. I always warm up my email addresses. Yes, you got to spend $30 a month on it, but the immense amount of value that it gets you in terms of getting those emails delivered and opened is fucking huge. It is totally worth that $30 a month, and that is for Lemlist to use the Lemwarm functionality. All right, let's go on from there here. What is number 2? Number 2 is double opt-in. Okay. Double opt-in. Now, ActiveCampaign has double opt-in built into it. That is one of my preferred email marketing programs. The other one is MailerLite. And I said built into it. I mean, it's a feature that you can use. The more complex your marketing is, you probably need to use ActiveCampaign, specifically if you're doing e-commerce or triggering events based on purchases. For simple email marketing, and simple can be very effective, I like to use MailerLite. Personally, I like logging in and using MailerLite more than I do ActiveCampaign. When I log into ActiveCampaign, it's just like I just never really feel comfortable in ActiveCampaign. Or I shouldn't say I don't feel comfortable. I just don't feel at home. I prefer using MailerLite, but both of them can do it, double opt-in. And if you're not familiar with what double opt-in is, it's basically sending an email saying, hey, click to confirm your email address, right? So they opt in when they sign up for the list. The double part is they get an email sent to them, and then they click on it to confirm that that is their actual email. So that means they have to go fish it out of their spam, they have to fish it out of their junk, and they have to click a button. Now, one thing I know that's going to come up is you might say, well, I tried that and nobody confirms, right? Well, if they're not confirming, then you need to go back to the source and look at how you're getting these users onto your list and address the source. And how I commonly do that, or how I commonly get people onto my list, is I use what's called a lead magnet, all right? So, opt in to download the 10-step framework for X. That might not be it, but there's some type of lead magnet, a checklist, a framework, a cheat sheet, something like that. An ebook is what a lot of people use. I personally don't use ebooks, but I know a lot of people use them. You got to look back at what is getting them on your list and strengthen that. You got to make them want it. So if I'm doing a lead magnet and these people aren't double opting in, well, that means that they don't want my lead magnet bad enough. So I need to go back to the advertising source and either change what is in the copy, or I got to fundamentally change the advertisement itself. And when I say what is in the copy, what they're going to get out of getting my lead magnet. I got to do a better job there. You need to get the double opt-ins. And if you are not getting the double opt-ins, quite frankly, it's not worth having them on your email list. So therefore, you need to go back to the source and address the root cause of the problem, which is typically the lead magnet or whatever your opt-in mechanism is or whatever your offer is to get them to opt in. Double opt-in is incredibly valuable. Nearly as valuable as the Lemwarm. All right. What is number 3? Number 3, I've actually got these on a little list off on my other monitor. Number 3, get engagement in the email. Okay, so what do I mean by that? I mean, there's 2 ways. You can either, let me undo that. I'm not too good with this whiteboard tool here. There we go. Get engagement in the email. There's two ways that I see you can do this. Number one, you can get them to click something in the email, or number two, you can prompt them and ask them a question and get them to reply to the email. Right? Either way, we want to have them engaging with it. The people that open it, we want them to engage with it. Let me show you a really great example of this here from an email that I get from the Deal Flow email list. And this is an email list that sends out, or the person behind it sends out websites for sale and deals on online businesses that are for sale or off market. In other words, they're not listed by a broker yet. And down here at the bottom, what he puts in is this little thing right here. How did you like the deals this week? Excellent work. Meh, it was okay. Not interesting to me, right? So you can literally come through it here and just with a click, give some feedback. I thought this was, when I saw this, I'm like, wow, this is amazing. I'm going to start implementing it. And I did start implementing it for myself, and it has worked wonders because now the users are clicking around in the email. When you click it, it just takes you somewhere to where the user can leave some direct feedback right here. But the big thing is the user is engaging with the email and clicking something in here. This is going to be, picked up by all of the major internet servers, or not internet servers, but email servers, and therefore, increase the quality score of your email or whatever metric they're using to determine how important or valuable your messages are. Right? So get the engagement in the emails. You can also do it for short emails. For short emails where it's just, a couple sentences or something. And I like to do this. It's kind of hard. I'd have to give you the whole backstory, but let me just go back to the beginning here. For short emails where you've got a few sentences of information, boom, prompt a question to get a reply. In sales follow-up is really where I use this. We might be like, are you still interested in your project, or should we close out your quote, right? And customers at that point tend to usually get pretty serious about sending a reply back, okay? We could also do it with this, but you can see the value in the sales process of getting a reply back and opening up a dialogue. Let's go on to the next one, number 4. Number 4, subject line. And I know this one comes up a lot. Really. You can't get any piece of information on how to increase your email open rates without somebody telling you have to have a catchy fucking subject line. Well, here's the thing, all right? And here's where I'm going to take a totally different road. Most people try to come up with these elaborate subject lines, right? But why, right? Our email boxes are just overwhelmed with elaborate, catchy marketing subject lines that have had the best and brightest minds in internet marketing, dump their whole 100% 12-hour fuel tank into the subject line. So we've got a whole fucking inbox filled up with all these subject lines, and we just know that they're total bullshit and I don't care about them. The two best subject lines I have found, dun 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 dun, so I'm going to share these with you, is no subject. Literally that text in the subject line, no subject. Think about it. When you are sending an email to somebody that's kind of personal, and it's usually relevant, usually the emails that you want to get have no subject in them. At least I know that works for me personally, and the people that I've shared this with agree with me on this. So there's some consensus, and my open rates for no subject emails are fucking high, so I know that it works. People like that no subject line email. And that is literally the best one that I got. You can't do that for every email though. You have to use it sparingly. And the same thing applies for the second one. So I'm going to go on to the second one. The second one is the date. Literally today's date. What day is today? January 30th, 2022. I literally might put in a subject line. I don't literally might. I literally do. And I do this frequently as I can. 1/30/2022. That's it. That is my subject line. I will put that in the subject line, send it out. In ActiveCampaign or other programs, you can do something like that, and that will generate out the date. So if you're doing this in a sequence, it'll just set the date to whatever date it is today for the person in the sequence. That's very cool. Now, here's the thing. You cannot use these for every email, or then it becomes repetitive. you don't get the pattern interrupt effect, right? So I use these and I reserve these for my 2 valuable emails, or not for my 2 valuable emails, but for any real valuable emails, the emails that are asking them to buy, the emails when we've got a new offer, the emails for our high margin and high ticket products and services. That's when I use these 2 subject lines. When I really want them to open and I've really got something valuable, something that a lot of people want and something that translates to a lot of value into my pocket, I use these 2 subject lines. So I would say I am using these in no more than 1 out of 10 emails. So between the 2, you got two of them here. I might do this for 2 out of 10 emails. And I'm usually going to hit them pretty quickly with this. Like in a sequence, I will do, 3 emails, and then I'll hit them with a no subject, and then I'll do 3 more emails, and then I'll hit them with this, and that gets me to almost 10. And quite frankly, I like to keep my email, my email sequences relatively short. If they're not interested in buying at that point, my sequences usually end. I'm not one of those people that creates 10-month sequences because, quite frankly, nobody has the patience to wait 10 months to see what works, right? I am a direct response marketer. I say that in a lot of my other videos. I do a lot with Facebook ads. I do a lot with Google ads. I want people that are ready to buy, or pretty close to ready to buy, right? They have a pain point that needs solved. They have a problem that needs a solution. There's something they really, really, really want, right? So I really just focus on those people. And quite frankly, I can tell you that 99.9% of the marketers out there running these 10-month fucking sequences, or basically anything longer than a month, are not really getting any value out of it. Yeah, maybe blast that email list, a little bit, or send them some emails later, but things are going to change, right? How long in this changing world are we running the same offers for a year? Things are changing up. So yeah, if I don't get any sales in, say, 10 emails, 4 or 5 days, I'm moving on, focusing on people that are going to buy. So number 5, let's go down to the final one here, time of day. When does your audience actually have the time to buy something? When are they doing something? And I'll consider an audience of, say, home service business owners like contractors, right? People that own home service businesses. If you haven't seen any of my other videos, you might not know this, but primarily how I've earned the bread and butter in my life is actually owning and investing in and acquiring home service businesses offline and using marketing techniques like this to increase their sales. But if you're trying to sell a service to other home service business owners, I know that they, number one, are too busy in the morning to actually deal with anything, right? Like getting their attention in the morning is not good because that's when they've got all their problems. So-and-so didn't show up for work today. That's a big problem. So-and-so got to their job, but they've got the wrong materials. That's another big problem. So anyways, that's going to account for 90% of the problem. So we're not going to go on to any more. Morning is just not going to work for them. All right. Weekends typically don't work well either. Sometimes Saturday might work, but the big thing we want to focus on is afternoon. Okay. So they're going to typically eat lunch, usually later. The busy ones are 1 to 2. And after that, it's kind of more open-minded, whatever the fuck comes up type of thing until maybe 5 or 6. So that is when I want to send the primetime emails, the best emails. Now, I think, both of these programs, ActiveCampaign and MailerLite, can send it based on time of day. But here's the thing. To do this, you have to get these high open rates. You have to, because that's going to allow the email platforms to record what time zone the user is in. If they don't open it, you're not going to get any timing methodology behind it. So, it's important to get all this stuff in line first so you get the accurate time of day. And then I guess I'm going to go on here. I didn't really plan on this, but we're going to give like a 5A or maybe a 6. Timing between emails. Timing between emails. So let's go on to make this 6. Because time of day is important, broadly speaking, but timing between emails is also good. So for example, what I might do here is, let's just say that we send out a regular email in our sequence. It doesn't have a fancy subject line. Well, then they open it. Well, 15 minutes later, I might set it up automatically to send out 15 minutes later a no subject email. because they're already engaged. They already looked at that email. So I'm going to send them the no subject email that's going to have the real value proposition or the ask in it. And I'll do this too. This is kind of interesting. I may have a video on this, but in ActiveCampaign, I have one that is sending out the sequence, and that's sending out typical emails with no subject, neither one of these subject lines. And then I've got another sequence or automation, as they're called in ActiveCampaign, that's running behind the scenes that just looks and it just sends out when the user opened another email. Boom. And then it sends out an email in, I think, like 10 or 15 minutes. So I'll do that. And that email that's running, in the background, only the people that open the email, that one is using the no subject. I don't want to say how we do it all the time, but that is frequently how we do it. So those are my now 6 pro strategies for increasing email open rates. Which one did you guys find most valuable? Which one are you not doing that you're going to start doing? Let me know in the comments below, guys. I'm signing off on this one.